Back in the arrays chapter, at the end of the chapter, we talked about the vector, and we did a program or two, but not much about it. We're coming back to visit this again, and now we're finding out that a vector is one example of one of the containers as a category of objects available in the standard template library. There are others of them, but we'll use a vector. We had that before. The standard template library means that someone already wrote this code for you, and all you have to do is find the library listing the member functions and go ahead and use them. Makes life very easy. We have to include the vector header in there, and all this, it is just a simple demo of creating a vector and putting numbers into it. Okay? Display them back. So we have a count loop counter, and then using the standard template library, the way you define the object is a little bit different. We've seen it a couple of times, but we would say define a vector of ints, angle braces called vect, whatever, and then one of the member functions is size. How do I know the member functions? Well, in my case, I'll look in the book. It happens to be table 16-5. So I looked in the book, and it said I can find out the number of elements in my vector with this member function called size. So I said vect starts with so-and-so number of elements. It would be 0 at this point. And now if I want to add items to my vector, the member function, again, I'll look in the list, is called push back. It's going to push it onto the back. It says accepts as an argument a value to be inserted into the vector. The argument is inserted after the last item, which is how you get this pushed onto the back of the vector. So from 0 to 10, then to the vect object, do the push back method and send to it. We're just putting the numbers in there, so 0 would go the first time. And then display the size of the vector now. Call the same function again. And we could instead use the square brackets, the array type notation, to display each element. So we'll say from 0 to vect size. Instead of saying 10, now we'll just use size. You know, that's a better way to approach it. See out the contents of vect sub count and then put a space. All right, then the next function we're going to see is the pop back, which means remove the last element from the vector. You do have to have a little care with these because different of the containers, STL, have little bit different commands. Little bit different, not much, little bit. So this one then we're going to pop them off. So to the vect object, do the pop back member function, and automatically it takes the last one off the back all the way down to 0, and then we'll say our size is back down to 0. Again, as long as you have the list of the member functions, they're really easy to use.